And it says we're live. Maybe. Hello. Hello, world.
It lies.
Yeah. Wendell is dressed. He's not going to stay there.
Oh, I know, but what the hell?
Hello, all. Welcome to another version of the blanket of the day.
Yes. And remember, if you want to support the lady who provides the broad stream that is bringing this into your poor, benighted household, buy her quilts.
Dressed, Sanford dressed. He has a
Hawaiian shirt.
Hawaiian shirt.
Not intended.
Yeah. Concealed carry. It's just stop it. Anyway, there's good and bad. The good was the football game last night. I know most of y'all don't give a rat's ass about it, but damn, sold the quilt already. All right.
No, not the one that's there. The black and petite one sold.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know what that is.
I don't either.
It was two quilts back.
Two quilts back.
Okay. Can't see Wendell in a dress.
No, Wendell is not a dress person.
So anyway, the game last night was probably one of the best football games I've watched this year, and it was for the national championship. And Georgia, AOC got COVID, G or B. I don't know, Richard. She got something. And the real takeaway from last night was the fact that the local boy makes good, I guess you would say.
Okay.
The quarterback from Georgia was a walk-on. He had played 2 years at a junior college, came back and got offered a scholarship after he walked on.
Okay.
And he put the game away last night.
All right then.
And the Alabama quarterback, who is the Heisman Trophy winner, got spanked. Horse to the vet, put her out of her misery.
Wow. The comment section's on a roll. It's spicy this morning.
Yeah. The horse to the vet, put her out of her misery yet. No.
That will be in response. The horse face.
Oh, okay. I missed one there. Welcome all. Doug, good to see you. Sarah, nice to see you. You getting about your bedtime over there.
Oh, Google just let me know that we're on the.
Oh, we're live?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Nice of them or something.
The experimental model Mark II, age 49 hours. Okay.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah, Sean. It was a good game up until the fourth quarter, and I thought it was interesting that Saban, in the conversation with Smart after the game, said, "You kicked our ass in the fourth quarter." So that's a hell of an admission. Yep, like I said, your bedtime, Sarah. Yeah.
10 p.m. is people's bedtime.
In that part of the world, yes.
Okay.
The bad is Fauci and Ron Paul got into it again today when Fauci was up testifying. And as usual, the Democrats covered for him. It's like, oh, you can't say those things about people. That is just horrendous that you would say those things about Fauci. You would threaten him like that. Really?
I would like to introduce you to Donald J. Trump.
Yes.
2016 to 2020.
Yep. Ghetto rules. Yeah.
What?
It's Southeast Conference. Southeast Conference plays by their own set of rules.
Somebody's got to.
Oh, damn, Don. That fridge finally died. Actually, it needed to be put out of its misery about 3 years ago.
No
but,
kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get the little people up and ready for school. Yeah, I don't miss those days at all. The only thing that gets me up in the morning is my bladder.
I have a Chiweenie who decides that sometime about between 6:30 and 7:30 she's starving, and she has this nasty habit. She'll squeak. She has this adorable little squeak that says that she's starving, and if I ignore her, which I usually do, the next thing I know is I get one fat little paw on either side of my ear, and then she tries to clean the inside of my skull on the far side of my brain. And I'm here to tell you, folks, that'll get your butt out of bed with a quickness.
And it seems like you're not the only one that is suffering from that lately.
That popped up because apparently Jonas Henry has learned a new trick to get her out of bed.
And there was a mumble and a grunt from the back. Wakes, it stands on you and screams in your ear. And that would be a cat that I would be bouncing off the far wall of the bedroom. Yeah, exactly. We do not have the back room mic'd. Still fighting that battle and still losing. And it's just one of those, you know, I've been out of the electronics world too long to play with this crap.
Okay.
So still
All
trying
good.
to figure it out.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Facebook has been stupid with me recently, more than usual. As part of the Ghosts of Malta anthology, which we're pretty much aiming at the U.S. market, I would like the Maltese to get a hold of it because my God, they'll run with it. But
Yeah.
I'm hoping, but not betting the farm on it. So we're aiming this anthology at the U.S. market, and I realized pretty much nobody in the United States has a clue what or where Malta is. If any Americans think about Malta, it's in candy or milkshakes.
Yeah.
So I've decided that my at least one of my, or probably my only contribution anthology is going to be one of my sarcastic, snarky looks at history involving Malta. And I was going to do a little teaser, and that'll be the first thing, the first story, so that when you pick up the book, you'll get a clue as to what everybody's writing about. Very sarcastic clue, I hope. So I thought I'd put up a teaser involving the Great Siege, which is fairly important, one of the many important aspects of Maltese history.
No, the Maltese Falcon does not count.
Actually, there's a story there too.
Yeah.
Disregard. The Great Siege, when 40,000 Ottomans showed up to turf the Knights of St. John, the Knights of Malta, off the island. And what a bunch of people don't know is that whole thing was caused by women. It wasn't the entire reason, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, two straws actually. And the knight that caused that, I was doing a little section on Mathurin Romagus, who was the knight that pretty much triggered the Great Siege. And Facebook won't let me post it. The first time I tried to type it directly into Facebook, and Facebook yarked on it both times and shut down. So I took the advice of people older and wiser
Just keep
and
talking.
typed it in Word, and then I would copy and paste it into Facebook. And guess what happened? I copy pasted, and Facebook yarked on it. So I figured I'll throw in, since we're kind of slow right now, I'll throw in the cliff notes. Mathurin Romagus. There are two folks on the Maltese side that are important. Two personages important during the Great Siege of Malta. You got De Valette, who was the 70-year-old knight who was go right ahead, who was leading the whole thing and led several charges sword in hand on Ottomans. The second one was his best buddy in the whole wide world, Mathurin Romagus. Romagus was the spare in a noble house of France, and as was the what you did back then, you had the heir, you had the spare, and then you got the spare the hell out of there, so he didn't make the heir nervous because they fun. So they turfed Mathurin off to the Knights of St. John, the Knights of Malta. And apparently, young Maddie found a galley and fell in love. At the time of the Great Siege of Malta, Mathurin Romagus was one of the top naval commanders loose in the Mediterranean at the time. And he was easily one of the top three naval commanders that the Knights of Malta ever produced. And people don't understand the Knights of Malta were seafaring, they were pirates. And Romagus took the whole pirating thing kind of a little further than most. We first find young Maddie when a tornado hit Malta Harbor, the Grand Harbor at what is now Valletta, and flipped his galley over. Well, after everything cleared, they went out there and started looking for survivors. There weren't a whole lot. And they came across his galley. They hear tapping on the hull. So they start with axes to chop a hole. And first thing comes out is a monkey. Because apparently, when young Maddie went to Buccaneers R Us, parrots were on back order. So he got a monkey. Of course he did. And then out comes Mathurin Romagus comes out. This is where we first run across him. Well, he takes you will go forth and harass Ottoman shipping personally. And not only did he harass Ottoman shipping, he harassed Ottoman ports, Ottoman port cities, anything that looked like it might be an Ottoman anywhere within spitting distance of shore. He was all over it like white on rice. So here he is clipping along in the Eastern Med and comes across Ottoman galley and takes said galley. Now, bearing in mind that the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire had a case of hips at the Knights of Malta for about 40 years, maybe more, and was annoyed at him, but they were just an annoyance until young Maddie takes this galley, takes it back to Malta, and finds out that it's worth about 80,000 ducats at those times. And the reason it was worth this much was the chief eunuch of the Sultan Seraglio, the harem, had talked all of the Sultan's wives and all of his concubines into investing in some really good deals. So they gave up all of their jewels, whatever they had, and the investments worked. They made money, and they put the money on the galley, and along came Romagus, and they lost it. Well, you've heard the story or the old phrase, happy wife, happy life. So here you have the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, who has a lot of wives, none of whom are happy, because they have lost all their money. And all of his side chicks, the concubines, they ain't happy either. So they are at the Sultan. He's not happy about this. Well, Maddie drops off the galley. It gets auctioned, and he takes back off to sea because he was enthusiastic that way, and comes across yet another Ottoman galley. This one had the governor of Cairo and a 97-year-old lady on board. So he hooks him up, takes him back to Malta. Well, it turns out that the Sultan's favorite sister had this wet nurse that raised her that she adored. Well, said wet nurse had converted and had gone to Mecca on the Hajj, and on her way back from Mecca, happened to cross paths with our monkey-carrying little bandit. So now that not only are the wives gnawing on his ear and his concubines gnawing on the other ear, his favorite sister is in tears. And that's why the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire gathered up 40,000 of his best and said, "Get those people out of my hair."
Which didn't end well, as we all know.
and
They're
they
still there.
lost. And they lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've ever been to Malta and seen the wall, it's a serious wall.
Oh, no.
And
Oh,
it covers probably 2 or 3 miles
oh, good Lord. Yeah, oh, yes.
at least of shoreline.
Well, everybody that's been through Malta has fortified it
Yeah.
because it's okay.
Fortified it or dug another cave.
It's 106 square miles of rock in the middle of the Mediterranean. The farming's not great. However, it's 106 square miles of limestone, which is always riddled with caves. And it's midway between anybody holding Italy and Sicily and anybody holding Libya.
Yep.
And usually throughout the course of Maltese history, folks in Italy would have stuff under prescription that you could buy in Libya. And folks in Libya would have forbidden stuff that you could, well, buy in Italy. So the Maltese were quite accomplished smugglers for most of their existence. And then the Knights of Malta showed up and smuggling turned to piracy, and they were really good at it.
It's actually 2 islands. It's Malta and Gozo.
Gozo
Gozo.
and Comino.
Yeah.
Comino's not really. It's archipelago. There's several islands, 3 of which are actually occupied.
Yeah, for versions
occupied. But the siege of the fort of St. Elmo during the Great Ottoman Siege, which went down in flames, was one of the, oh my God, if you can't read about the last defense of the forts of St. Elmo and not just get all choked up, yeah, there's something wrong with it. It's like the Alamo in steroids.
Yeah, it is location. And the Maltese taught the Corsicans how to smuggle. The Corsicans are Johnny-come-latelys in the Med.
Oh, Lord.
One of the more interesting things is the more acquisition engineers. Yep, that's pretty much it. The more you get into the history of the Mediterranean, the stranger it gets.
Oh, Lord. You're not kidding.
It's just, and the advantage of being over in that part of the world is you can go look at the history.
Mm-hmm.
It's still there. The town hall, the city hall in Rome was built by Michelangelo. It's still in use. It's still a city hall.
Mm-hmm. There are walls in, you go to any of the Medinas, the old cities in the port cities. I love the port cities in Med. Yeah. Port cities, they're all ancient. They all have their own rules. And and they're fantastic. Valletta, Tangiers, Rome,
Siracusa.
Oh yes, they're ancient, and you can be sitting in a cafe in one of the Medinas in the old city, and look over the wall and realize that it's actually got paint from when the Romans or the Carthaginians or whoever got stomped by the Phoenicians built the wall that they decided to just borrow.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the more interesting things. Aqueducts, bits of Roman roads. Yeah, the Appian Way is still in use.
Oh yeah.
And it's still better than most roads here in the United States. A little narrower, but the other thing we have to thank the Romans for is with the railroad tracks.
Yes, bastards.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing of it is, as far as Maltese history goes, prior to the Arabs, not the Ottomans, but the Arabs, moving in and taking over the island in, I think, the 800s, but it might have been 1200s. Don't get me to lying. There's no extant Maltese history before that. It's all been destroyed or erased. So who knows what went on before then? Well, we know basically what went on because The Maltese, when they were under the Roman Empire, when they were military under the Roman Empire, had actually had senators in the Roman Senate because they were extremely rich. Bearing in mind, this is a chunk of limestone that's only good for growing rock rose and honey.
Yeah.
And honey's not that, it's a good export, but not that. But they were rich enough that they had at least 3 senators in the Roman Senate.
Yeah.
Okay. That's your first clue that the little bastards were smuggling and stealing everything not nailed down, is because one does not buy or put 3 senators in the Roman Senate with honey.
Yeah.
But there was also a complaint. I came across a complaint that was filed with the Roman Senate. A Roman citizen, which you could do, had a massive whinge fest about the Maltese boat crews were hitting the taverns, and if they weren't starting fights, they were stealing everything and running.
Yeah. You've got one of the original El Camino de Reals down there, RK. The other one's in California, and it's the longest street in the world, 452 miles long, stretching from San Francisco to Los Angeles, now known as the Pacific Coast Highway. But I have to tell a funny on myself. A number of years ago, I was dating a Spanish lady.
Oh, you poor bastard.
And it was an interesting lady. Blonde Spaniard. You don't see too many of them.
Yeah, up in the north.
Yeah. Well, and
Crazies.
yes.
Oh my goodness.
We got to talking about history. And she laughed. And she said, well, you consider history to be 200 and some odd years.
Yeah.
She said, we've lived in the same house for 550 years, and we're the new kids on the block. Error. And I said, what's in your attic? She says, I don't know. I'm afraid to go up there and look. I could just see, you run with shit. Get out of it. Because the stuff people find in attics, I mean, a piece that Jonna found is probably at least 50 years old, if not older, from Westpac.
Oh, here.
It's the Western Pacific for those of you that are not military. But it's carved. And it's very beautifully carved. Box.
Here you go. They were going to chuck it out.
They were going to throw this away. I don't know how much you can see of it. But it's detail carved, very detail carved. And the inside, if I can get it open, actually has carving on the inside too. They were going to throw this away. So who knows, what kind of history has been thrown away. And, that also applies to many countries in the world. Yeah, Tom Clancy's readers understand Westpac. But it's things like that. It's the little things that disappear. Probably one of the more famous pieces in Malta is the Sleeping Lady, which is found in the Hypogeum, which, they're still arguing over how old that piece is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's an island on Gozo, or there's a cave on Gozo, which is claimed to be where Ulysses fell in love with Calypso and spent 7 years. The old capital, Valletta is the new capital. The old capital is Medina. Medina has been continuously occupied for 5,000 years.
Yeah.
The temple at Gigantia is we think between 1,000 and 2,000 years older than the pyramids in Egypt.
Oh, thanks, Josh. Not Pandora's box, and I was not the first one that opened it. So there.
But there are attics in Medina that are 3,000, 5,000 years old.
Yeah, RK. Yeah, Germans tended to not go in the attics a lot after World War II for a reason. There's no telling how many unexploded bombs are still sitting in attics.
Well, Malta's got that problem.
Yeah, Malta's got Yeah, they dig a hole. And, oh, yeah, that's why that was so easy to move.
The Maltese Defense Force Bomb Squad is one of the finest UXO outfits in the world because it's weekly, if not daily, they are having to deal with unexploded ordnance in World War II.
Closely followed by the French and Germans. I mean, it's pretty bad. But if you traveled in Europe at all, there are boxes along the sides of roads.
Mhm.
And that's where people throw the bombs and the hand grenades and
That they find plowing the fields.
yeah, as they plow the fields.
There's one of the interesting things that we learned was that farmers in France plow their fields in a very specific direction.
Yes,
Um,
they
and
plowed in the
Belgians.
direction that the bombs were dropped, so they get the tail of the bomb,
But
not the nose.
they never ever cross plow.
Yeah.
So if they plow north to south, they've done that for generations. They never ever, because as they plow, they gently shift the bombs around.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, the bombs will come to the surface, parallel to the, and then they pick them up and put them in these boxes beside the road.
Yeah, and it actually depends on the location in the flats in Europe as to which direction you plow, because they went back and looked at what the bombing tracks were to get in there. And some of them they plow east, west, some of them they plow north, south, some of them they plow at a 45-degree angle. Pig mess can get it to the nerds.
I don't want to know.
You were
No.
promising to do that when we were there, Dawn.
Don't want to know.
Yeah, Sarah, that dig, 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 clink crap is
Oh yeah.
that's pretty much a daily statement. A lot of the stuff in Malta bounced, that's true, but a lot of it, limestone is fairly fragile. And when you've got a ceiling that's 1,000 years old, it may not be up to spec quite as much as you would expect. So they've ordnance in Roseville, California. Oh yeah.
But I'm actually, we haven't gotten any stories yet. I'm kind of shocked because I know for a fact that several people started working on these stories months
I'm
ago.
trying to edit mine down to 8,000 words.
I'm talking about other folks.
Oh.
There were other folks that were making noises about stories. Malta is limestone and marble.
Yep.
The Maltese marble was fairly, for a long period of time, maybe still is, don't quote me on this, was fairly important in the Med.
Yeah. That was before they found Marble Mountain up in Italy.
Yeah, it's Malta is very khaki, and where it's not khaki, it's ivory, because most of the since you got limestone and marble coming out your ears, that's what everything is built out of limestone and marble.
Yeah, Richard, if that happens, Ian will fall over in a dead faint.
No kidding. No.
And David is a historian, so
Yeah, somebody, I don't know if he ever watches this, was having a beer or something with David Weber, mentioned this to him. So the reason that we've got a compressed schedule on this is I've been threatened into hand delivering a copy of this to David Weber at Tolkien.
yeah, Cyprus is similar in a way, but at the same time, because the Turks and the Greeks have been fighting over Cyprus about as long as it's been there, and there have been Turks and Greeks. It's pretty much a war-torn place. The guy that relieved me actually was blown up on R&R in Cyprus.
Why the hell would you go to Cyprus for R&R?
That was the closest place they could send him. He couldn't leave here. He was one of those guys.
I would do an R&R. I think I'll go to Robin Sage for R&R.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Josh, he would. Yeah, his short story would probably be 90,000 words.
But
Sorry, Nancy.
The
Oh, Nancy, while I'm thinking about it, I am not going to make it to LTUE. I withdrew
don't
because
get me started.
they're going full masking, and you know how bad my hearing is, and I have to lip read, which I can't do if people are wearing masks. So I withdrew.
One of the other interesting things of Malta was the World War II, which I find less interesting. It's still interesting. I find it to be less interesting than the Grand Siege, but it always brings a smile to my face when I remember that the Italian Air Force, which at the time that they started bombing the Stana of Malta, was pretty high tech. It was cutting edge for 1940s technology. That they were getting shot in the face by Gloucester Gladiator biplanes, which were obsolete before they came off the factory floor. And one at a time, because they didn't want to lose more than one at a time. They figured they'd lose their biplanes going up against the Italian Air Force. But I can't help but feel sorry for that Italian pilot whose bomber gets shot full of holes by an obsolete Gloucester Gladiator named Charity.
Yeah. Yeah, the Gloucester Gladiators and the Fairy Swordfishes.
They had
and the Night Witches in Russia.
They had 3 Gloucester Gladiators, like I said, obsolete before they came off the showroom floor, named Faith, Hope, and Charity. Nothing like getting your state-of-the-art bomber shot of the sky by Charity.
Sure, Gordon, I'll be more than happy to do that. You know that. I guess I'll send them a thing and say I'm willing to participate in Discord. We've done it before. We can do it again.
Faith, Hope, and Charity.
Yep.
Nothing like getting shot out of the sky by Charity.
Mona Lisa Foster wrote
the Night Witch story?
The Night Witch story. And that's one of those you need to go read. It's a short story. Well, you need to go read most of Mona Lisa's stuff. It's she does the research. It's correct. Saturday, 6 p.m. Okay. I will let them know I'll be assisting you, or you can let them know, Gordon, and that way we get them from both ends.
I'd help, but I don't think they like me.
Yeah.
I received an invitation to a professional at LTUE, and then they rescinded my invitation.
Yeah, Nancy, that's a possibility. There was another con where the hotel changed hands and the hotel was going to cancel a con.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody started poking around in contracts and found out.
That's always fun.
Oh, we can't do that.
That's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would be happy if did you say it's on guns?
Yeah.
I would be happy to. Like I said,
we will not do it here at the Blanket Fort. We'll do it from my house.
We won't do it at the Blanket Fort?
I don't know, maybe. It depends on if we can convince Jonna to stay late.
I can get a key. I have a key.
Oh.
We can get in here.
I solved that issue.
Very satisfied voice came out of the back. I solved that issue.
Yeah, hotel contracts. Looks like a board credit. Sewage treatment nightmare. Yes, well.
Everybody that landed, everybody that got to Malta starting in year 5000 fortified the place.
Yeah. Yes, cowboy equipment does include guns, as it should. So we'll be there, Gordon. Yeah, and it has a set of lockpicks. Yeah.
A set? Sure. I have a set.
I had to get rid of mine, even though I was a fireman.
Oh, there was some idiot had somebody custom make him a saddle. And who was custom make a saddle, and the saddle maker told him how much it was going to be.
Oh, that was Kenny Rowe.
Told him how much the saddle was going to be. I'm here to tell you, folks, custom made saddle ain't cheap. And when the saddle got done, the guy showed up and decided he didn't want to spend that much. What, folks? If you're a cowboy, you need a saddle, spend the money.
Yeah. Yeah, that saddle later sold for $10,000.
Respect the artisan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing, if you need quality work, leather work done, highly recommend Kenny Rowe at Rose Leather over in Hope, Arkansas. I've known Kenny for many years. He's not cheap, he's not fast, but everything he does is hand cut. There are no stamps. They do not use stamps on anything. And he builds some beautiful custom belts, rifles, pistols, holsters. And he's also got an in with the Knife Guild in Arkansas, which, for those of you that may not know that, there are any number of professional knife makers out of the state of Arkansas, going back to the days of the Bowies. And he's got an in with them, so he makes custom sheaths for knives. And like I said, absolutely beautiful work. And the quality is there. Some of the folks around here have seen some of the stuff I've got that he's done.
McBride's Land Cattle Company, or the other one. There's two McBride steakhouses in town, owned by brothers or cousins, competing brothers. The one on Maplewood, the rafters above the main dining room,
Yes,
are covered in saddles, donated saddles. And just walking through there is fantastic.
Yeah, we're going up to Amarillo this weekend, and one of the places we'll be taking Jonna to show her is AQHA Museum. And they got some custom saddles in there.
No kidding.
Oh,
I love AQHA.
Yeah. And I'm sorry you won't make it, Dawn, but understood. She's got to move other stuff. Yeah, that's
McClellan's. If you know how to ride a McClellan, they're surprisingly comfortable.
yeah.
I don't know how to ride a McClellan.
I don't either. I can ride Western.
When
I tried to ride in English once, and it's like, what the frick do I hold on to? There's nothing here.
when I drew the Arab from the Remuda, there was a nylon, and Abetta makes, or used to, I think they're out of business, made a polymer and nylon saddle. And for a while, they made a Western working saddle out of polymer nylon. And that was a horse that, if you drew the Arab, that was a saddle that you put on the Arab if you drew the Arab. That was a damn comfortable saddle. It really was.
Yeah. Well, Nancy, you know how to ride a McClellan. I grew up riding Western. And you have a good reason to know how to ride a McClellan. I don't. Oh, two of the Abetas.
Those are good saddles.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in business anymore, which is kind of sad, because those a lot of people turned up their noses at nylon and polymer for saddle, but that Arabian wasn't big enough. It wasn't a real big horse.
Yeah.
Smart and good cattle horse, good cow horse, and he liked that light polymer nylon saddle.
Yeah, they have their place, and they're a lot grippier than a pure leather saddle.
Also, bull on there.
Yeah. 'Cause you get a saddle and use that sucker's slick. Yeah. Yeah, I use mine for roping, so yeah. Yeah, the full skirt and cut skirt saddles. Yeah, that's hours and hours and hours of discussion on themselves. Yeah, and it's like a lot of other things that you don't see that much. You really try that?
Once.
Yeah. Yeah, once would have been about enough. As the what did you even attach the rope to? Nothing.
Your good left hand.
Yeah, well, that's about it.
I've told the story on here. I don't know if Gordon and Nancy were here. That Arab had decided he was a cutting horse, and every quarter horse I've ever ridden that was a cutting horse, you lay back in the saddle and you let the horse do his business, and they would bounce back and forth on their front legs using the back as a pivot.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the back legs is a pivot, which is what I was used to. And J.A. put me up on that friggin' Arab. And the first time he decided to that we were going to cut a calf out, he went down like they do, and I leaned back in the saddle, and the bastard was pivoting off his front legs. He would bounce his ass around at 90 degrees and take off, which is really quick. If you lean back in a nylon saddle, when that damn horse pivots, sky ground horse.
Yeah. And a horse looking down going,
What
happened?
Why the hell are you down there?
Yes, Josh. And you can find videos of idiots losing fingers.
Oh, there's one. Oh,
Yeah, that one.
there's one that makes me cringe. It's Vaquero, Mexican guy, and there's this cow, bull cow, I forget which, and it is going hell for leather. It is hauling ass, and he is sitting on a horse standing still and dallies a loop over that cow, and his saddle horn smokes, and he yanks his hand back and it cuts the saddle horn off, and
Three fingers.
And he's down to two or three fingers.
Down to two fingers.
Because not only did it cut the saddle horn off that saddle, it cut his fingers off.
Yeah, yeah. Horses can smirk.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Didn't know there were hanging grapevines that grew in Oklahoma, Gordon. Ooh. Somebody was less than happy with you. If you've ever been to the AQHA Museum, there is a statue out front of a horse and rider, and that is the perfect description of the way the horse that I used to ride, Spots, would do. He would get down and spread.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's a 17-hand Appaloosa. He'd get down and his front hooves out and glaring at the cow.
Yep.
At the cow's level. And I've got both hands on the saddle horn. Got my feet as deep in the stirrups as I can get them. Hey, ready, set, get him.
That's when you're on a cutting horse, you let the horse do the work.
Yeah, because all you're doing is hanging on and you can't react fast enough.
Like I said, and all the quarter horses I ever rode, cutting, they bounce.
Yeah.
But that friggin' Arab would go forward and kick his ass out to one side, and the first couple of times, cloud, dirt, thud.
Yeah. They won't test you, Josh, so much as they will do things for no apparent reason.
Oh, I take that back. There's always a reason for a horse to do something.
Yeah.
You might not know what it is, but that horse knows it's a really good idea to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. On Main Remuda, there was a little bitty creek that crossed. It was 6 inches wide, maybe a inch deep. And that bloody Arab rode across it. La la la. I mean, for a year. Then all of a sudden, one day he spotted a dorsal fin in there, and he would not cross. Nope. Done. We're not going to have to ride around.
Yeah, I've played lawn dart more times than not, which is one of the reasons that I have never chewed tobacco since I was 15 years old. Because I was up on a quarter horse going from one pasture to another, and it was about a 45, and the trail this way went back to the barn.
He was tired, ready to go to the barn.
And I'm going that way, and he went that way, and I went and swallowed a chew of tobacco.
Ooh.
and had about a 2 mile walk back to the barn. And my aunt said I was green when I came walking through the yard, throwing up.
I don't know what it is about white plastic shopping bags for horses, but
Not just white.
there could be 15 white plastic or grocery bags go by, and that number 16 hangs,
Yeah.
and it's looking for the horse. Because, oh, it's a grocery bag. Oh, Walmart bag. Oh, Albertsons bag. Holy shit!
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Josh. They will do anything they can to get out of being tacked up.
Palo Duro is a gorgeous place. I love Palo Duro.
Yeah. It's Duro, by the way. But it is beautiful. And it comes up out of nowhere because you don't see it until you're driving along, and all of a sudden it's like, damn, that's a big hole in the ground.
Palo Duro is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Love it. If I could buy some land on the rim of Palo Duro, I'd build a house there and never look back.
Yeah. There are the other good one is the proverbial I'm going to do things my way horse.
That would be most of them.
Yeah. But there's always that one horse in the stable that everybody else can ride, and you go to get on him and he's going to buck you before you get out of the corral.
If it's cold outside, it's not some of them, it's most of them. If it's cold outside, they will take a really deep breath, and you have to knee them in the gut or just wait.
Yeah. Yeah, knee them in the gut and yank like hell when they blow it out. Yeah, Sean, Palo Duro is the second deepest canyon in the United States.
Second biggest, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. The only thing bigger is
Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon. Yeah, you can walk them 20 steps. Yeah. You do it your way, Don. We do it our way. Yep, you got to get them warmed up.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, sometimes they warm you up in the meantime.
Thing about horses, for something that's that big and that fast, they are friggin' delicate.
Yeah.
Horses will go south on you with a quickness. My father loved horses, and I dealt with them. What?
Never pull a raincoat. Oh, God.
Clouds, dirt, clouds, dirt, clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will go south on you with, health wise.
Yeah.
For something that big and that fast that has evolved to outrun predators, health wise they'll go south on you with a quickness. And I like horses. I don't love them. I don't like them the way my dad did. I don't mind horses, but I'll never own one because you walk outside, they've decided to take a sickness, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing is shooting off a horse.
Oh, yeah, you'll do that once unless you're used to it.
Yeah. That's an experience if you've never done it. Yeah, that's a good point, Don. Horses are 1,000 pounds of digestive problems walking around on toothpicks.
She's not wrong. I was on a TDC horse. Now, for those of you who don't know, Texas Department of Criminal Justice has horse teams. And if you're looking for a fugitive or you call them out to find, say, a little old grandpa with Alzheimer's or a lost kid or whatever, they'll bring horses. And there's a lot of the canyon breaks, the Caprock breaks. You can't get vehicles in here.
Yeah.
We were looking for somebody. I forget who it was. I think it was a kid. And we'd call TDC and they'd brought their horses. And I figured if you were a horse that was raised and kept by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for the purpose of chasing down criminals, you might be aware of gunfire. And and we were out, I think, right out of Dead Horse Canyon, apropos name, looking for, I think it was a kid. We were looking for a kid, might have been a hiker, but I forget which. And I came around the end of a draw, and there was a hog, big old feral hog that had come out second best with something. I think probably a mountain lion, but something had torn that hog up, and he was pissed. He was not happy, pissed, saw that horse, and decided that he was going to take, well, yeah. So the horse starts dancing around, trying, and we're kind of boxed in, and he's doing the dance, and I unshuck a 357 cut off a round at that hog, and then had to hang on, and banged off 5 more rounds. Didn't come anywhere near the hog because the hog is making runs at the horse. Horse is doing the sun fishing and bouncing, trying to get away from the hog, and I'm trying to reload. And no.
Did you ever go back and get your speed loader?
Yeah, horse stomped it in the dirt, but I got it back.
Oh, yeah. And horses do like certain things. The oddities, at least with some of my uncles, were the ones that liked carrots and one that liked apples.
Every horse I ever met would do a nut for apples.
Yeah, but he had a couple of quarter horses that, you offer him an apple and, but they would chase you around the corral for a damn carrot sticking out your back pocket.
Nancy, that was the one they said, here you go. I went, okay, and got on board.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Yeah. Yeah, Frisians. Yeah, there are beautiful horses, and then there are horses you can ride, and then there are horses that you just want to look at. Clydesdales, Clydesdales are huge. And
you're not kidding.
They're not the biggest horse. Percherons, and some of those that Budweiser had a quite long, and I think you can still find it on YouTube, discussion about how they bred the horses. And it's really interesting because that's a millions and millions of dollar job. Shires. Thank you, Gordon. Couldn't remember what it was. But what goes into actually breeding those horses, and they breed to specific colors. And the ones that they don't use, they actually will sell to other people. I can remember as a little kid, we were somewhere, it might have been St. Louis, and they had the Clydesdales out. And I can remember walking under one as a little kid. And that horse never even moved.
I get that. Creepiness just hearing you say that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, me 65 years later going, holy shit, I did that and lived? Oh, Percheron quarter horse cross. Good grief. How big was that thing, Gordon?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
This is, it's, how did Don describe it earlier? It's a big bag of digestive issues on toothpicks.
Yeah. Koala, where did you get your seeds from? Are they Pioneer seeds? Just out of curiosity. 1,500 pounds, 16 two hands. Yeah, that's a big horse.
Yeah.
Now, actually, my uncle got the Appaloosa because the guy bought it for his granddaughter, and it came from the Nez Indians, and they had trained the horse. And then he got to looking at the problems that Appaloosas historically have, and the guy went, "Yeah, this horse is not going to live 3 years," and basically gave it to my uncle for a Mustang. And Spots lived 16 years. And that was probably one of the healthiest horses he had on the ranch. Quarter horses, yeah, that's a different story. Yeah.
Quarter horse is a quintessential cow horse.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing AQHA has. In the floor.
Oh, yeah. The floor in the grand hall, or
is
great
the
hall,
bloodline.
inset in the floor is the entire bloodline of quarter horses.
Yeah, that's
Love
that's
that place. Love that place.
yeah. Yeah, Gordon, once you start getting up into that size horse, yeah. Yeah, horses can live a long time.
Yeah, they can.
And
Until something flies by and they decide to take a call it.
yeah. You know, the other side of the coin, my first hand job was literally shoveling shit for a veterinarian. And he was a large animal vet over in Texarkana. And he was also the track doctor at Oaklawn Downs up in Hot Springs, Arkansas, at the racetrack. So I got to go to the track a few times.
I rode. My dad. He always had horses when we were in Nigeria, and we rode. Didn't much care for them. Chris and I didn't much care for them. But when I got my first job at Bug Scuffle, the first Bug Scuffle, my take-home pay was $999 and change a month. So the sheriff, who was cowboy from way back,
Yeah.
said, "Go out, talk to this guy, and do day work for $25." And so I had to supplement my income at Bug Scuffle with ranch work.
Yeah.
And you can't do ranch work without riding a horse in Panhandle.
Yeah. Yeah, Don, there are people that can literally trace the entire lineage of every horse they own.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Horses, I'm not going to say they're the ultimate pets because they're really not a pet. They're a partner. And you know, that's one of the things that a lot of authors get wrong. Well, one of many, okay? That'll
Horses
get you
wrong. Just horses?
Yeah. But we'll get a book turned into a wall book quicker than anything else, is if you piss off the horse people.
Same with the costume people.
Yeah, well, and the Peanut Gallery says, and the same with the costume people. Yeah, Cutter Bill. So 2 generations out, yeah, she's going to be on the registration. Yeah, they were never pets. They were part of the family, and that's why a lot of the cowboys had their horse and a spare, or maybe 2 spares, depending on how much they were working. And I mean, I love riding spots, but there were a couple other horses that I had to ride because we were working cows all the time. And I never, well, the only cow or only horse I ever owned was a Shetland pony, and it took me 2 years to give that son of a bitch
I don't
away.
like Shetlands.
Yeah.
I do not like Shetland ponies. Shetland ponies, I have been nibbled more times, and full on nibbled more times by Shetlands
Nibble?
than by anything else.
Bit.
Oh yeah, and when they bite you, they like a friggin' pit bull. A Shetland bites you, he hangs on.
Yeah.
You start hitting him with 2x4 to get him turn loose.
Yeah. Oh, I can believe that, RK. If he was his favorite horse died in the 20s.
Nancy's giving you a ration there, Jonna. Chihuahua horse, yes. Anybody that thinks Chihuahuas have nasty attitudes has never met a Shetland pony.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. That's right. Sean, no.
What?
Just friggin' no. Get the gas pedal to ride to Buckingham Palace.
Wow. Yeah, Whirling
Yeah.
Shetland.
Yeah, that's why, Gordon, that's exactly why the horse herd, the horse remudas in most cattle drives were anywhere from 70 to 150
Oh, yeah.
horses.
Oh yeah.
And they might make it to the end of the drive with 100 of them if they started with 150.
Now the horse is delicate.
Well, and also you get, the mountain breds and the winter bred Mustangs, I think are a little hardier, or were back in the day. For hardy though, you got to look at a Missouri mule.
Okay. Mules in general.
Yeah, mules in general. Now, mules are different than donkeys. Mules are a cross between a horse and something, and it's big, and it's got a temper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Chihuahuas are Satan. Yes.
Shetlands are Satan's nasty little sister.
Yeah, mules are great. Missouri mules, and some of them were actually raced back in the day. They could outrun horses, but they're a cross between a horse and a jack.
They're also a lot hardier than horses.
Yeah. And if you ever go look at any pictures while you're doing research, the 40 mule train borax wagons that came across Death Valley were all Missouri mules.
Well, they ain't big enough.
Yeah. And they made it multiple times, multiple trips, year after year. Yeah. And we've wasted another hour of your
Holy
time.
crap, we have.
Wow, that was fine.
Damn, I thought it was like half an hour.
They do mule dressage?
Yeah, no.
No. I did not know that, Gordon.
Mule dressage, I'm going to be carrying a 14-ounce slapjack because,
Yeah.
pow!
18 mules and 2 wheel horses.
For the borax wagon.
Yeah. The problem was they kept running out of wheel horses. Western turkey drives. Yeah. All right, folks. Y'all have a good day. We'll be back on Thursday afternoon.
Thursday at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Remember, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff. And we'll talk to you later.
Be
Bye-bye.
safe, guys.